We simply can't have nice things, can we?
Apparently not.
Look, this video is not a review of the movie. As a standalone film, it probably works. It did its job, questionable script aside. It's a fun slasher you can watch with friends or on your own when you're bored, and it's perfectly fine. I usually don't expect much from these types of films. But as an adaptation of the game, it was a massive disappointment, at least for me. And yes, I know they specifically said it's based on the game and not a proper adaptation, but in that case, why use the game's title for your movie? Why not call it something else? Why ride on the fame of such a beloved and established game? Oh, I think I just answered my question. And perhaps I'm biased, because I'm a big fan of Until Dawn. I even played the game again in anticipation for the movie, didn't even watch the trailer because I already know the plot, but you can't tell me that this is good script writing or has anything to do with the game. The only things these two have in common are the movie title, Dr. Hill, and the hourglass motif. That's it. Oh yes, and a few Wendigos sprinkled around the movie, which I always forgot about, so that's always a good sign. So let's go ahead and dissect this unfortunate hybrid. Movie versus game. And we'll start obviously with the plot. This adapted version, and I say that lightly, felt more like a combination of Groundhog Day and Dead by Daylight. It was as if they couldn't decide which movie or game to get inspiration from, so they chose both and slapped the name of a third one on it. I'm not absurd, I don't expect movies to be completely faithful to the source material, but I do expect them to at least conserve its spirit, that spark and idea that makes Until Dawn the iconic survival game it is. In the game, the action takes place at Josh's creepy and giant lodge deep in the mountains, and not this baby blue Victorian mansion set in a remote valley. Unlike the original, there's no snow, which is too bad because that truly added an extra level of dread to the story, and the group of friends did not get together for their friend's death anniversary, but instead they're retracing the final steps of Clover's sister Melanie, who disappeared a year ago. The events start unfolding rapidly, which I understand is necessary for establishing the film's time loop premise, but that time before is precious and important in order to set the tone, the atmosphere, and help us connect a bit more with the characters. Most of the tension that made the game iconic is gone, and we have so many elements thrown at us and so many useless details that it feels more like a collection of ways to off the characters rather than a genuine race for survival. In the original, the characters are pranked by Josh, who, as an act of revenge towards his friends for how horrible they were to his sister, dresses up as a mass murderer and orchestrates an entire terrifying hunting scenario, and quickly after the prank reveal, the real danger and predator emerges, putting all of their lives in danger. This dual strategy works wonders for the game and for its players because it leads us to believe that the worst has already passed, lulling us into a false sense of security just before the true horror sets in. The game builds tension through psychological manipulation by first grounding the fear in a human-made deception, only to subvert expectations with a supernatural twist. This layered approach not only deepens the narrative impact but also amplifies the shock value, making the shift to the real threat, the Wendigos, feel earned, unpredictable, and genuinely terrifying. But in the movie, things are disappointing because the layered tension and clever misdirection in the game are replaced with a more chaotic, less focused narrative structure. Instead of slowly building dread through character dynamics and psychological tricks, the film jumps quickly between horror tropes like witches, spirits, possession, and axe murderers without giving any of them enough space to develop. It's truly a fiasco, and I could care less about the characters. And since we're on the topic, let's talk about them, shall we? The characters. It's ironic, but the game characters are better fleshed out than the movie ones. That just blows my mind, because you'd expect a film with its tighter runtime and focus on performance to deliver more emotionally resonant portrayals. But in Until Dawn, the game uses its interactive structure to give players time to explore each character's background, personality, and relationships through meaningful choices. In contrast, the movie races through introductions and motivations, relying on archetypes rather than development, which makes the ensemble feel more like placeholders than real people caught in a nightmare. Take Abe, for example. I'm guessing his character is supposed to mirror Mike. While starting out as your typical jock, Mike grows a lot in the game. He's courageous and intelligent and actually shows leadership when his friends need it the most. I don't know why, but he ends up being my favorite, possibly because I've misjudged him so harshly in the beginning. Abe, on the other hand, continues to be selfish, cowardly, and kind of ignorant. I mean, the Wonderwall reference was really bad, but so are most of the lines for the movie, so who cares anymore, right? And don't get me started on Dr. Hill. What a missed potential there. Having Peter Stormare reprise his role in the movie is a great addition. I also appreciated the cameo of Josh among his many files, but for the Doctor, they could have handled his role so much better. In the game, Dr. Hill served as a kind of psychological guide or moral interrogator for the players, thus blurring the line between game and reality. In the movie, his role is more of an echo, mostly decorative, when instead he could have been a deeper narrative tool, guiding the characters, breaking the fourth wall, or clarifying the time loop for us frustrated watchers and dedicated gamers. But hey, at least they included the Wendigo. What more could we ask for, right?
You are 100% wrong.
The Wendigo was the central terror in the game. It stalked the characters from the shadows, influencing their actions and chances of survival. But in the movie, it's reduced to a brief appearance near the end, almost like an afterthought. Instead of building the horror around its mythology, the film tosses it in the middle of other supernatural threats, stripping it of the slow burn dread and cultural weight it carried in the game. As a result, what was once a scary and deeply symbolic creature becomes just another generic monster in an overcrowded horror show. They tried to replicate a few of the iconic scenes in the game where he had to stay perfectly still to avoid alerting the Wendigo, but without the player's physical involvement, the tension loses its edge. In the game, that mechanic wasn't just clever, it was psychological warfare. You weren't watching fear, you were experiencing it, your own body becoming part of the horror. In the movie, those moments feel more like stylish callbacks than genuine suspense. They're visually sharp, sure, but without the interactivity, they become hollow echoes of what made the original so unforgettable. And now, my final thoughts. The ending was anticlimactic for various reasons. 1. None of the characters proved they deserved to survive, in my humble opinion. 2. If the universe is all psychological and metaphysical, the coffee cup scene with Dr. Hill makes no sense, not to mention, didn't he use the same water to make his coffee? And 3. So many questions were left unanswered. The ending tries to wrap up the time loop concept and hint at a greater supernatural force at play, but it doesn't offer much clarity on why the characters are trapped, who is orchestrating it, if anyone, or what the Wendigo's role actually is in the broader horror ecosystem the movie sets up. Is this a test, a punishment, and if so, what was Clover's sister being punished for? I don't know, I'm so blinded by my love for the source material that I can't come up with proper explanations. The film might be called the same, but it doesn't carry the same soul. If you're also a fan of the game, I recommend you spare yourself the trouble, don't see the movie, and let your memory of Until Dawn stay intact. Rewatch a playthrough instead. Trust me, it's scarier in all the right ways. Thank you for watching this video. My name is Denny. My channel is about movies and games, so maybe like this video and subscribe to my channel, pretty please. Also, comment down below if you have any other details or spotted inconsistencies. It would be much appreciated. Take care everyone and see you next time. Bye!